All right. Hi, hello, good morning, everyone. We'll wait for probably like a few seconds for people to log in. How is everyone doing today? If you can hear me, give me a hi, hello on WhatsApp. Harshvardhan, namaskar, कैसे हैं आप? Keep it on hold, Harshvardhan. I'm going to start with some interesting story I've learned uh, about this whole trade war on China. I want to start there. Then I'll definitely be happy to take your doubts. Good morning, Tejas. How are you doing? Shimanshu, of course, I remember you. Hi, good morning, Udit. How are you doing? Hi, Mehir. All right, so I'll start right away, and then of course I'll be happy to take all the questions you have. This is actually one of my students sent me a video a couple of days back, and I was completely blown away when I listened to the video. I didn't know that, but how did the whole idea of China tariff arrive, or rather than how did it get crystallized in the way it got crystallized, right? So all of you might have heard of name of this gentleman called Peter Navarro, who's Trump's economic advisor, or I think tariff advisor. He is some official post. Now, in 2016, in the election campaign, Trump wanted someone who was good in articulation about trade war with China, right? So he just wanted someone. So Trump went to his son-in-law. His name is Jared Kushner or something like that. So Trump goes to him and he says, "Go and find me a economic advisor who's against China, or economic expert who's against China." So this gentleman goes on Google and search for economist against trade with China, and then this number called Peter Navarro pops up. So there is this Peter Navarro had written multiple books. One of the book was called Death by China, and that book apparently was a little popular. So these guys decided to reach out to Peter Navarro. Now, very interestingly, Peter Navarro, when he's written his book, he's given constant references of how the trade with China is not beneficial to US and whatnot. And in all those references, he quotes an economist, and this is where it gets very interesting. He quotes an economist called Ron Vara. Okay, so this economist apparently in his book is a Harvard PhD and whatnot, and he has some very powerful one-liners about what Ron Vara has to say about trade with China. As it turns out, this Ron Vara is a fake person. So this economist, which is written in Peter Navarro's book, does not exist. In fact, it's basically a rearrangement of the word Navarro or Navarra. If you just rearrange that word, it gives you Ron Vara. So Ron Vara is a fake economist, and then obviously Peter Navarro gets into the Trump closer circle, and probably some reason why we have this war going on. The why I thought of talking about him today, because I think Elon Musk recently called this guy a moron, and he said dumber than a sack of bricks or something like that. So it's very, very interesting of what's happening in the global environment today. So that's the story for the day. Very, very fascinating. I'm ready for all the questions that you guys have. I will start with the questions on the live chat box. I'll take one or two questions on the chat box, and then I will start taking some of the questions we've aggregated already. So I can see one coming in from Alka. Alka says, "Hi sir, I want to do MS in financial engineering, but I'm from non-finance, non-math background. My query is, will FRM help me through the MFE curriculum?" I think so. I mean, Uh, I think a lot of financial engineering curriculum obviously base heavily on derivatives, fixed income, and basic quant. So FRM captures a large part of it. So yeah, the answer to your question would be yes. Should definitely help. And same with CFA. I think CFA level 2 curriculum will also help significantly. All right, Kesh. Hi, got a question about pursuing CFA qualification. Tried the exam, failed 4 times. I've put it on hold. Exam only allows 6 attempts. Do you think it's worth pursuing still? I mean that's a very tough question, Kesh. And honestly, as a teacher, we grapple with that question because as a teacher, I don't want to believe that student does not have the capability to pass a particular exam. It's never the question of aptitude. It's always peripheral in terms of strategy and preparation level. If I mean, see, CFA is not the end of the world. There are plenty of career opportunities elsewhere. So you decide if you really want a career in finance. Uh, you decide if CFA is something that's important to you. If I were you and if I had failed 4 times, I would have probably taken the exam 5th time, right? Till the time the CFA Institute doesn't throw me out, I would probably keep on going at it. But every time I will make sure that my approach is different, like at least the 5th time now. So maybe sit back and contemplate on what is it that you've not done properly and decide if it's worth considering again. A good idea for you would be to write series of mock exams, prepare, write mocks, see if you're scoring above 70 or 80% consistently. If you are, maybe it's worth one more shot. Jatin. Jatin says, hi, I'm getting investor relation role after clearing level 2 at 5 lakhs, work from home. Is it a good start? Yes, it's a good start. Investor relationships are good profile for freshers. Ayush, Kesh, you should avoid CFA. And that's not true, necessarily true, Ayush. Vedant. Vedant says, hi sir, I'm struggling in level 1, was finding concepts quite clear as days closer to exams approached. Level 2 just feels so vast and at this point fear is setting quite high. Just revise and practice questions. It's a normal process of writing exams. Okay, I'll take a few questions that I've received previously. Have you WhatsApped me the questions? Yeah. And where are these questions from? Comments?
YouTube as well as
YouTube and Instagram. Okay. So I'll take some of the questions we've aggregated from YouTube and then I'll come back to live chat. Maybe we can do alternate. First question is from Mihir Apte. Can you give us some advice on time management and concentration? Okay. I'll tell you what I do, right? My time management is kind of fairly simple. I make sure I have a to-do list. Typically these days I just put them on my phone. Back in the day I used to have like an elaborated written to-do list. What I also try to do is prioritize my to-do list in terms of what's really important and I need to do today versus what I can defer by a few days. Second, generally I operate on this, at least for me personally, what works is we all of us have multiple goals in life at the same time, right? There could be multiple goals. At times the goals could be conflicting. So I've created some sort of a priority structure for myself in terms of these are the 3 things which are very important. It could be, let's say, I'm just making up, right? It could be number 1 is maybe health. Number 2 could be, let's say, family. Number 3 could be career or whatever else that's important to you. And then make sure that every day the time that you spend, the task that you do is taking you in that direction, right? So that's generally what I've been trying to follow. For concentration, what works really best for me is about 50 to 60 minutes of sitting cycle. So sit with some work, dedicated 50 to 60 minutes, a 10-minute break, repeat. I generally try to do this, that if I'm doing something important and if I'm slacking, if I'm not doing it well, तो मैं अपने साथ के रूल बना लेता हूँ कि ये I will not get out of my chair till the time I don't finish the work, right? So and then even if it takes 3 hours, 4 hours, I'll just be at one place and finish whatever I'm doing, and then I get up. So that works out well for me. All right, Arjun is asking a question here. Arjun says, "Hi, recently cleared level 1, got a summer internship at JPMorgan, KG Somaiya, but it's an ops role. How should I transition into core finance? What should be my next steps?" Very difficult to transition to core finance from an ops role. Since it's an internship, I think it's okay. But I don't think, Arjun, today it's very easy to start your career in ops and move to core finance. I think it's always smarter to just start at the right profile right from the beginning. So you do your internship and then maybe look for opportunities elsewhere to look for core finance opportunities. Sangram, I'm currently in Pune first year. I want to pursue CFA from Pune. Is FinTree in Pune? If yes, what's the procedure to get into institute? We are in Pune, Sangram. You can just Google us. We are closer to Pune University. You're welcome to walk down and talk to our team. Arpan is asking, I had 2.5 years of work ex, currently working with a gap of 2 years, willing to restart career at 27. Take up CFA, learn financial modeling. Is this the right decision? If finance is what you want to do, and within finance your focus is more on valuation type of profile, then I think it's a fantastic decision. Then by all means you can start. Look for a job. Don't do it full time. That would be my advice to you. चलो आगे question लेते हैं. Let's see if we find something interesting here. Kamal Kumar says, thank you, I passed level 1. He's written an appreciation message, which is nice. Naman Agrawal says he has a list of 200 PMSs in an Excel file. Sure, I mean the Excel file is helpful, but you can get them on SEBI website. Let's see some more. Sakshi is a very good question. Sakshi says she's taken CFA level 1 and she scored 1570. Remember the passing score is 1600. And she's saying, I'm feeling very dejected. Should I attempt in August or November or wait? Please help. Sakshi, August is doable. November is also okay. You're very close, 30 points, probably is 3-4 questions or maybe less. Practice a lot of questions, take a lot of different mocks, learn from your mistakes. Spend enough time, you should be able to get through comfortably. ठीक है. Rishabh says, I scored low in first mock, was zoned out during the mock. Any advice? Coffee पी के बैठो, Rishabh. See, scoring low in first mock is okay. I think everyone scores low in the first mocks. Even if it's 30-40%, that's perfectly fine. Zoned out because probably you don't have that endurance. So write more number of mocks, see what works, what doesn't. Try a little bit of caffeine. I think that will work. So maybe have a coffee or a Red Bull before you start. Should be all right. Stock of Knowledge says, hello sir, why do so many hedge fund managers and large investors subscribe to Bloomberg Terminal despite having free information? What are we missing here? Information is available, but it's not aggregated and classified So one is information, but second is the way information is presented. The third is the speed at which information is available. Bloomberg Terminal makes everything easy. Plus, when traders want to communicate, it becomes very easier to communicate through their Bloomberg terminals, right? So it's also a kind of a communication device or a tool. You get access to all the sell side research reports within the terminal. So it still offers a lot of benefit. They built I don't know if you know this, in the US, you can order flowers for your spouse by pressing a sequence of buttons on your Bloomberg terminal. So imagine these traders are extremely busy, right? And they probably wouldn't have time to go and probably shop for their spouses. So you press a combination of buttons, and it will deliver flowers to your place or your house. So Bloomberg has kind of done a lot of these things and become an integrated part of the whole ecosystem. Any questions you have that I'm missing on?
These are the previous ones.
Yeah, those I've taken. Shobhik is asking, will it be a good decision to switch to US investment bank during this tricky situation, especially with recession being predicted in the US? Shobhik, I think you reached out on WhatsApp as well. If I remember well, I think you're transitioning from a public sector bank to a private sector. See, I'll tell you, there are a lot of things going against the GCCs in India right now at the moment. One is, if you notice what has happened, the UBS and Credit Suisse merger. Now, because of that merger, a large pool of employees of the combined entity were skeptical that maybe we will lose jobs, and that fear itself is sufficient. Because of that fear, these guys started applying elsewhere. So the supply of professionals already is a little higher in the market in the GCC space, right? On top of that, a lot of these guys are on cost cutting mode at the moment. So there are hiring freezes, so they're also getting rid of certain employees. There's a lot of automation happening in this space. So the times are very uncertain. And what I was trying to tell you on WhatsApp also, take any decision in the framework of risk and reward, right? Reward is you get a chance to move to a private sector. I'm sure the pace will be substantially better. Risk is possibility that 6 months, 1 year down the line, you might be fired. And generally people first to be fired are either senior level guys or the ones who've recently joined, correct? So there's a probability that you get fired. And if that happens, is that an acceptable risk for you? Can you survive 6 months, 1 year without a job? Do you have that much of financial savings and mental bandwidth? If the answer is yes, then I think by all means you should change the job. If I were you, I would have taken the offer. Okay, but then that depends on individual risk appetite. So think in that context. If it works well, do it. Okay, Tejas, if you have to learn Bloomberg Terminal or Capital IQ software, where can we learn them? Bloomberg का free course है Tejas. I forgot the name of the course. पता है आपको? Bloomberg offers a free course. They teach you how to use Bloomberg Terminal without using a Bloomberg Terminal with videos. If anyone knows the name of that course, post it on the chat box, please.
BMC program, Bloomberg Market Concepts program.
Bloomberg Market Concepts program, yeah, and it's a free certification, right? Yeah, so you can learn that, and see, it's it's a little bit like getting comfortable with that keyboard, and that comes with practice. So you learn the basics on the internet, and then whenever you start working, you get to use the terminal. Arjun, should I aim for PPO now in the ops role and then shift jobs post level 2 or look for other campus placements? I would not have taken an ops role, Arjun. So even if an operation role is paying me higher salary to begin with, the fact that I know that my learning curve is going to be very flat, सीखने को कम मिलेगा. So I would rather look for a high quality finance role, even if it means my pays are low, at least at the beginning, or even if it means I'm taking a risk of not finding a job. I think that would be an acceptable risk since you're a fresher. Aditya has asked a great question. ये आपका ही है क्या? अच्छा, that's a good question. Do retail investors have any real advantage over big institutions? 100% yes. So, for example, again, not a recommendation, but I've been buying a stock, and since the time I bought, the stock is on lower circuit. So, रोज 2% जा रहा है. It's a 800-900 crore market cap company called Iris Business. IRIS. Not a recommendation, probably a very stupid investment I've made. But if you think about it, it's an 800 crore company. Most of the mutual funds or institutions will not be invested, because if they buy a stock, they will want to allocate at least 100-200 crores. But if they allocate 100-200 crores to this company, they'll end up owning 20-30%. Right? So you obviously have a size advantage, that you can buy the type of companies that maybe large institutions cannot buy. The second advantage that you have is the price advantage. So for example, you buy HDFC Bank stock or some, let's say, mid-cap stock. Your buying is not going to push the stock prices upward as a retail investor. So you can buy in easy, you can sell in easy. But a large institutional investor, if they buy, they're buying hundreds of crores. So that buying pushes the price upward. When they're selling, they sell hundreds of crores, that selling pushes the price downward. So for them, buying and selling decision is more complicated than what it is for you and me. Plus, a lot of companies, institutions will not touch till the time they reach a certain level of size. So double पैसा कैसे बन सकता है ना, that you buy, let's say, a stock. At the time of you buying a stock, there is no mutual fund investor or institutional investor on the cap table. Now the company does good on profit. So now it starts becoming visible. The stock price goes up a little bit. One mutual fund comes in. The moment one mutual fund comes in, all the competitors of that mutual fund or fund managers will start looking at your stock. Some of them will also come in. So therefore, it gives you that double opportunity to make some really large return. But it also means you're taking a very large level of risk, because you're buying at a level where no institution is there. So you don't get to benefit from the fact that उन्होंने मेहनत किया है. I'm just piggybacking them, right? That is not happening. So you have to do all the due diligence yourself. But you have plenty of advantages as a retail investor, for sure. Muskan. Hi sir, my level 2 exam is approaching. Please share a few tips, topics that could help me pass through smoothly. Sure, this is for May 2025. So let me do what I generally do, which is use my screen. So a quick advice for all the May candidates. Okay, if you're taking your exams in May 25, even August 25 for that matter, generally, this is a checklist that you need to follow. Step number 1, you need to have 100% coverage. Okay, so the question that, who was this question that was being asked? Can you give us some important topics? There's no such thing. You can have questions across the curriculum. So you cannot be selective. किसका सवाल था ये? Akash. So Akash, you cannot be selective with, I will focus on these readings or these readings. You have to have 100% coverage. That's one. Second, make sure you have spent enough time on doing all the CFA curriculum end of the chapter questions, at least twice. All the blue boxes which are there in the curriculum, they call them as examples. You've done them at least twice. Okay. And then third, in the final 20-30 days, what you need to do is you need to get onto this cycle of review or revision, then practice, then review again, and then practice. Right? This is the cycle you want to build. So when I say practice, I think mocks generally fit out well. My recommendation for level 2 is to take at least 8 to 9 mocks. Okay, FinTree portal has about 7 of them, 2 mocks you get from CFA Institute. If you do not have FinTree, find elsewhere, but make sure you practice as many mocks as you can. For revision, you can use some sort of a crash course. For level 1, I think I have an old YouTube crash course, 70-80% is still relevant. So do the crash course, take a mock exam, make mistakes, correct your mistakes, then go and do the crash course again. Right? So this is generally your cycle. Some part of the practice you can also do on learning ecosystem questions. Okay. Now learning ecosystem questions, I recommend practicing horizontally at this stage, which means don't practice subject wise. Practice one question of derivative, one of fixed income. इस तरीके से horizontal करो. CFA portal has a beautiful game. It's called Sudden Death. That kind of automates this whole practice for you. So maybe you can use that sudden death game feature and then practice the questions. Alright, so hopefully that gives you some perspective. If you want to know which are the important topics, my answer would be everything. No way to pinpoint do this or don't do this. Okay, back to YouTube again. I'll take 3-4 more questions. Next week, by the way, we have a speaker, right?
Yeah.
We have a speaker for next week AMA. It's a old friend and also FinTree alum who's used to work in Japan earlier, and he's done multiple startups in fintech and had multiple successful exits. So it'll be interesting conversation next Saturday. Alright, Mridul, 60% in EOC level 2, okay to clear? I don't think so. I don't think that's sufficient. Your accuracy level, at least on EOC, should be 75 to 80%. Maybe you need to revise and take the mocks again. Stop spamming the chat box. Anuj, recently gave interview for analyst role at Tresvista. Do you think it's a good start, finance career as a fresher? Yeah, it's not the best possible role, but definitely not bad. Tresvista is known to be a good payer, so they pay generally well. But I've also heard that they're extremely aggressive as far as the work and time commitment is concerned. So definitely not a bad place to start. Shreyash, I'm currently pursuing level 1. After level 1, should I do FRM level 1? Sure, if it aligns with your career goals, if you like risk management or banking sector as a whole, definitely a good idea. Just don't do it for the sake of gathering certifications, though I've spoken about this before. Jatin, will I be able to switch to core finance after investor relationship job? Yes. I think IR, what Jatin will happen in an IR role is a lot of research analyst on the other side, you would be their counterpart, right? So whatever company that you're working with, typically in IR firm, they will give you 4-5 companies. फिर उस company में all the investors who are interested in that company will reach out through you. So that way it will give you a fantastic opportunity to network. Brunal, how do I determine sensitivity percentage? How long will it take? Could you recommend some books to master macroeconomics? I don't think I'm anywhere close to mastering macroeconomics. I don't think 1 or 2 books can cut out also. It's a vast body of knowledge, will take you a lifetime to learn that subject. I wish I could help. I mean, all the books that I've read on economics, I have not liked them. So I don't have anything in particular to recommend to you. maybe start with some basic textbooks that those Uma Kapila and some of these authors, and then probably try and build on from there. Monis Khan, sir, is CFA really tough in this day and age? Should I land research roles, either equity research, investment analyst, currently level 3 candidate, and a wealth manager? You're in a good role, Monis. Why do you want to change out of sales? I think sales are high quality profiles. These are the profiles. See, you know what? If you're the guy who's making money for your company, you're probably the most precious resource. And salespeople are making money for their companies. So, why would you want to shift out of it? If you want to shift out of it, can you get equity research roles? Maybe it will be tough, but you can look for some product development or product type of roles within banks or wealth management outfits. Muskan, I struggle with hedge fund strategies with derivative for hedging risk, a magic approach to solve such questions. It's tough, Muskan. I think I have a class presentation, and this particular topic I covered from CFA curriculum. I have a 6-hour long video on it. There is no magic approach to solve questions. As far as a hedge fund is concerned, you'll have to do the drill. It's technical topic. And derivatives for hedging risk, there are plenty of techniques. I think you don't need to memorize any of the formulas. If you have access to videos, watch through them. That's the best I can advise you on this forum. CFA level 2 May exam, 40 days left. Aditya, abhi just 5 minutes पहले ही मैंने दिखाया. You probably missed it. Just rewind the video. You'll find last 40 days strategy. What about critical factors? How to determine sensitivity? Ronald is asking. Depends on what you're modeling. If you're modeling, let's say, cost of equity using Kappa model, equity risk premiums become a very technical sensitive part. Beta becomes a sensitive part. So it really depends on what you're modeling, right? What are the key drivers? Okay, last question. I'm going to wrap it up. Please throw all your questions on the chat box in one go. I'll try to select one and try and answer that. कुछ अच्छा सवाल पूछो. I'm bored answering how to find my first job. I've done that like a zillion times so far. If you have something interesting, I'll be very happy to answer. Okay, Aditya, great question again. I love that question. Aditya has asked. Okay, let me read everything first. Kanan, how much extra effort required? Okay. All right, I'll take Aditya's question, which is on investing. Aditya says, when the markets are in chaos, all the big investors stay calm, or at least they look calm to us on the outside. How do they do it? And your question itself gave the answer. If you look at all these big guys, right? They're always quoting references of the past. And for me as an individual, my investment journey, if this turns out to be a crash, it was probably a correction in the last week. But if tariff, trade war crash, or it turns out to be a crash, this would be my third experience. And I already see that it's easier for me to handle the current market volatility than how it was in 2020, and definitely very difficult in 2008. So two aspects to it. One is experience. When you've seen multiple cycles in the market, it doesn't feel completely new. I was telling in my level 2 class earlier that during those tariff announcement, I was awake in the night watching television. रात में 1:30, 2, 3 बजे तक मैं टीवी देख रहा था, just news channel one after another on what Trump will say. it reminded me of my behavior back in the day around 2008 when I used to watch television the whole time, CNBC specifically, on what's happening in the US, trying to understand. So when you see multiple market cycles, your reaction is better. Second, uh, now you would say that I just came to market, I haven't seen, how do I do it better? You read about uh, the different market cycles in the past. I recently completed a book. It was called History of Crashes or something like History of Bubbles. Okay, you'd find it on Amazon. Simple 100-page, 200-page book. And there are so many different books available on what has happened in the past on different market cycles. Right? So, and otherwise just use ChatGPT. Go and read in depth on what happened in dot-com bubble. Read on what happened in 2008 crisis, then saw what happened in 2020 crisis. The more you study the past, the better it's going to be. And remember, these are all the big things. We've also gone through a lot of smaller cycles. For example, the pigs crisis in the Europe. Then in India, we had GST coming in. We had demonetization, right? We have a lot of these shorter cycles. So study the past. That will definitely give you insights. All right, and with this, I'm wrapping it up here. Thank you very much. Next week, we have a guest, very interesting guest. He's a 40-year-old chap. He's, I think, on his third or fourth startup, has already got multiple exits. He's running I called him for the invitation. He told me now I'm also running a venture capital fund, funding startups. So I think that would be a fun conversation. It will be next Saturday, same time, 11:40. And with this, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. I'll see you next week.